The youth want to talk to the trusted adults in their lives about the issues they're facing, even if these issues are awkward and difficult issues. I realized this several years ago when I was teaching the 15-year-old Sunday school class. I had a great group of kids, and they were very respectful, and they always participated whenever I asked questions and asked them to read scriptures. But I could not get them to be excited and engaged in the lesson. There was one lesson that I taught that they were very excited and engaged in, and they had a great discussion. Ironically, this was the lesson on the law of chastity. The lesson started out as these lessons usually do, with all of the kids nervously looking at their feet and awkwardly shuffling back and forth. I told them about the law of chastity, what it is, and why they should live the law of chastity, and basically was giving them a lecture. But then I changed the mode of the lesson to be a discussion. They've been taught about the law of chastity since they were little, and they all know what they're not supposed to do, but what they want to know is what is appropriate and what is okay. And so when I asked this question in the class and told them that I didn't have the answer, but they needed to figure it out for themselves what they felt was okay and appropriate, they had a great discussion. And they were very engaged, so much so that they didn't even want to leave the class at the end. They wanted to keep discussing this topic. And so the youth really do want to speak to their parents and their church leaders about the issues they're facing. And they're facing many confusing and difficult and challenging issues in this day. One of the issues they face is, what is the big deal about pornography? The big deal about pornography is the damaging effects of it. Pornography damages the brain, it damages the family, and it damages society. Pornography damages the brain because it is very much like a drug and has the same chemical reactions in the brain. There's an excessive amount of dopamine that is released in the brain when viewing pornography. The difference between the reaction in the brain when viewing pornography and when doing drugs like cocaine and meth is that the reaction in the brain is much more powerful. It's like a chemical bomb goes off in the brain. And in teens' brains, studies have shown that their reward receptors, which is what causes the reaction to release the dopamine, are 2 to 4 times more powerful than in adults' brains. This means that their brains are being flooded with even more dopamine when they're viewing pornography. And just like with meth and cocaine, viewing pornography is addicting. The way that this works is the brain is flooded with all of this dopamine. That is not a healthy and normal state for the brain to be in. And so it tries to compensate by shrinking the dopamine receptors. As these dopamine receptors are shrink, and there are fewer of them that are doing the job of releasing dopamine, it takes more and more dopamine releases for the individual to feel normal. And over time, they begin to crave pornography more and more. Elder Dallin H. Oakes said, "It impairs decision-making capacity. It hooks the user, drawing them back obsessively for more and more. A man who had been addicted to pornography and to hard drugs wrote me this comparison. In my eyes, cocaine doesn't hold a candle to this. I have done both. Quitting even the hardest drug was nothing compared to trying to quit pornography." In viewing pornography, it physically changes the brain. Neural pathways are rewired in the brain, making new connections. And in more layman terms, fightthenewdrug.org, they said it this way: neurons that fire together wire together. Also, in the brains of addicts, which includes those who are addicted to pornography, they have seen that the frontal lobes of the brain shrink. Pornography is damaging to the family. When viewing pornography, it makes the individual so that they're not able to form meaningful, real-life relationships. M.A. Layden, in a paper called Pornography and Violence, stated, "Healthy relationships are built on equality, honesty, respect, and love. But in porn, the reverse is true. Interactions are based on domination, disrespect, abuse, violence, and detachment." Viewing pornography results in the loss of the spirit. Elder Dallin H. Oakes said, "When we worthily partake of the sacrament, we are promised that we will always have His Spirit to be with us. To qualify for this promise, we covenant that we will always remember Him. Those who seek out and use pornography for sexual stimulation obviously violate that covenant. They also violate a sacred covenant to refrain from unholy and impure practices. They cannot have the Spirit of the Lord to be with them. I have seen personally the damages that occur to families from using pornography. My sister married a sharp return missionary in the temple. They had 4 beautiful daughters, and they were the cutest little family. Their dad was such a good dad, and everything to him was awesome, and everything was an adventure. Even going to the grocery store was an adventure, and they had so much fun together. But then he started using pornography, and it totally changed his personality and made him become a different person. He became very abusive of my sister, and as the years went on, it continued to get worse and worse until finally she left him and divorced him. After she left, her 2 oldest daughters told her that their dad had been sexually abusing them, and that he had threatened to kill their mother if they told. That was 12 years ago, and the girls have not had any contact with him since their mom left the home. And they still have, to this day, they still have emotional issues, and they still have health issues that are related to the abuse that they had in the home and that were part of the addiction that he had to pornography. Pornography damages society. Viewing pornography promotes the idea that violence towards women is okay. It also objectifies women. And women, when they view pornography, they think that this is okay to have violence and abuse in relationships. They feel like this is normal and even healthy because that's the way relationships are supposed to be. 2 of the side effects for those who view pornography are a lowering of material success and a change in beliefs. And both of these have a damaging effect on society. Now that you know the way that pornography damages the brain, the family, and society, it's time for you to get involved and talk to your children. Get educated and know the things that you need to talk to them about and know the facts. 80% of first exposures to pornography are in the home between the ages of 4 and 11. Pornography loses its allure when it is talked about openly. It thrives in secrecy. 2 good resources that you can go to on the web for information about pornography and about talking to your children about pornography are the church's website, overcomingpornography.org. The church also has a manual, a parent's guide, which is a really great booklet to help you know how to talk to your children about many difficult issues and how to teach them about healthy sexual relationships. And the other great website is fightthenewdrug.org. They have many good informative articles, and if you click on the resources in each of those articles, you can find other articles and websites that you can go to find more information. If you're addicted to pornography, you need to get help. You can't overcome pornography on your own, and the only way to overcome pornography is through repentance and through the atonement. Do you know how long it takes to overcome an addiction? It takes 2 years. We all need to get involved, and we need to warn others about the dangers of pornography.